Hello again, welcome back. We're now on to Chapter 2, Functions and Strategy. Chapter 2 starts off with the very basic question of why is human resources important in an organization? Has anyone worked in human resources? Is it a future interest of yours? Why do we think human resources is a key aspect of any organization? Probably most notably, who would hire the employees that we would have? Who would take care of their benefits, their payroll? Questions that they might have about state taxes, handling trainings, interdisciplinary paperwork that needs to happen. All of this is incorporated within the Human Resource Department. The textbook lists that there are 4 major functions of any HRM team. Number 1, staffing. This is what we just mentioned. Taking the time to recruit for positions, interview for positions, hire someone on for a position. All of this is incorporated through staffing. Finding out how many individuals we need for a given department, different organization. There are a lot of key elements to staffing. The second being training and development. Once we've brought our employees on, it's important that we take the time to train them, to get them comfortable with our organization, our practices, our policies, our ways of doing things. Once we have someone in that role, whatever it might be, we want to make sure to develop them as an employee. They say most individuals in the United States have at least 7 different careers in a lifetime. To me, that's amazing. And I heard that statistic 10, 15 years ago, I would say, so it's most likely higher than that. That means that any individual could go from being an educator to a gardener to a landscape architect, all different types of careers. Something that's very important in today's workforce is that we are challenging our employees, that we are giving them the reason to stay with our organization. Businesses have changed altogether within the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, where we used to have an organization where people would come on, they would work 30 years, 40 years, retire with their gold watch. We didn't have to put as much time and energy into recruiting and keeping our candidates as we do today. All of that is included under training and development. Our third basic function is motivation. So I touched on this a little bit prior, but what would motivate an individual to come on with our organization and then to stay with our organization? A lot of people look for different benefits these days. Most individuals aren't as interested in pay, they actually say, as they are different factors within a workplace. The flexible work week is very important. These days we have a lot of 2 working parents in order to make ends meet. And not everyone can work 8 to 5 and still make it to the dentist and be at the kids' soccer games. So having flexible work schedules or even working from home, telecommuting is very important. They're saying that an individual's wants and needs are changing based on today's current environment. So finding out what motivates our employees. And then fourth and most important is management. Once we bring individuals onto our organization, we need to make sure that everyone is managed in a certain function, that we're keeping their pay structures appropriate. We are taking care of their timesheets. Everyone is meeting their needs. Do they have certain certifications that this individual might need in order to stay staffed with us? My background is actually not only in human resources, but in healthcare. So I spent a few years at Shasta Regional Medical Center in human resources as well as administration. So one of my responsibilities was actually keeping track of everyone's certifications that worked for the hospital. Our nursing staff needed to have up-to-date certifications and licenses. Our doctors needed to have up-to-date certifications and licenses. This is something that needed to be managed to process, or else we would have employees performing duties that they weren't appropriately licensed for. So the 4 basic functions again: staffing, training and development, motivation, and management. In other words, they say we hire employees, we train them, we stimulate them, and we try to keep them. Those are the 4 basic core components of the Human Resource Department. If you haven't spent time in a Human Resource Department before, again, it can range from any organization. If you have a small organization, you can have maybe 1 human resource generalist that handles all of the tasks of a Human Resource Department, from hiring, training, payroll, compensation, up to a larger organization that might have 10, 15 different people within a human resource department. Maybe a headquarters human resources department as well, in which you would have people focused on certain tasks. For example, I said I work at the Reading Veterans Home. We have 6 different individuals in our human resource department. 2 of them specifically focus on personnel issues, time cards, enrollment for benefits. Then we have an HR generalist who handles all of the phones, messaging systems, calendaring of appointments, scheduling interviews, things of that nature. Then we have a human resource manager. So we have more people in the office, and each can take on a more dedicated role to a certain task. Where if you are on the flip side in a smaller organization, then you would have less people doing more types of human resources roles. And as you continue on through the chapter, there are some areas for us to research. Are you interested in human resources? Have you worked in human resources before? What is it that made you sign up for this course in particular? So read through chapter 2. Let me know if you have any questions. We have our forum open. Don't forget to post your burning forum question for the week to take your weekly chapter 2 quiz. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.